Tuesday, April 21st, 2026, AGNDD Until I Report topic. 4 unsettling theories about Edgar Allan Poe's death that experts still can't explain. Please pardon any visual and informational inaccuracies in this partially AI-generated article-based video. 4 unsettling theories about Edgar Allan Poe's death that experts still can't explain. The bizarre events leading up to Edgar Allan Poe's death continue to spark debate and speculation. By Logan Deloy, Mental Floss, April 21st, 2026. Edgar Allan Poe, vertical bar Bettman, Getty Images. Edgar Allan Poe lived a precarious existence, facing turbulent swings of fortune from 1809 to his mysterious death in 1849. Before we can unravel the uncertainty of his final days, we need to examine the course of his life. The life of Edgar Allan Poe. Heritage Images, Getty Images. Orphaned at the age of 2 following the death of his birth parents, Poe cycled through foster homes before finding permanent residence with a wealthy family, the Allans, living in Richmond, Virginia. Though they never officially adopted Poe, he moved with them to London, where he later attended school. In 1826, he came back to the United States to study ancient and modern languages at the University of Virginia. During this period, his relationship with his foster father began to deteriorate, reportedly due to disagreements over Poe's poor money management skills. As tensions grew, Poe left for Boston, where he published his first poetry collection, Tamerlane and Other Poems. Before long, he joined the Army under a pen name and was stationed at Fort Moultrie in South Carolina, where he rose to the rank of Sergeant Major. He then enrolled at West Point Academy, but was expelled less than a year later. He published Poems, his second work of poetry that same year, and moved to Baltimore, Maryland, where his short story, MS Found in a Bottle, won first place at a literary contest. In 1834, his stepfather died and left him nothing. A year later, Poe moved back to Richmond and was appointed editor of the Southern Literary Messenger. Edgar Poe only worked there for 2 years before he was fired, during which time he married his 13-year-old cousin, Virginia Clem. Upon losing his job, he moved his family to Philadelphia, where his poems were published in several notable magazines. Here he became editor of 2 publications and continued to publish poems, short stories, and reviews. His drinking habits worsened, and he clashed with influential figures, all while struggling to earn a living as a poet. In 1844, Poe relocated to New York and published The Raven in the Evening Mirror. The poem was an immediate success, resulting in the release of The Raven and Other Poems later that year. He purchased the Broadway Journal, but it ultimately failed financially. Shortly after, his wife died of tuberculosis, leaving Poe emotionally unstable. In the years following, he moved back to Richmond, got engaged to 2 other women, Sarah Helen Whitman and Elmira Shelton, his childhood sweetheart. But both engagements were called off due to a tumultuous struggle with alcohol abuse. In 1849, following his departure from Richmond, Poe turned up in Baltimore, allegedly on his way from Richmond to New York City, delirious and dressed in clothes that did not belong to him. No one could explain how he ended up there, including Poe himself. He was taken to the hospital, where he floated in and out of consciousness and hallucination until his passing 4 days later. Even 177 years after his death, we remain in the dark about why Poe was in Baltimore, what he did in his final days, and the reason for his delirium. Naturally, when faced with uncertainty, society speculates. Over the years, numerous theories have emerged in an attempt to explain his mysterious end. Let's investigate a few of the theories surrounding Poe's passing. The death of Edgar Allan Poe. Gravesite Edgar Allan Poe Archive, vertical bar Bill Tompkins, Getty Images. Cooping. In 1849, elections in New England were plagued by corruption, and Poe was discovered in a disheveled state just 1 day before Election Day, October 4th. At that time, it was common for gangs to kidnap individuals, disguise them in random outfits, and pressure them into voting multiple times for a favored candidate, a practice known as cooping. Victims were forced to drink alcohol as well. This theory could account for Poe being found intoxicated and wearing clothes that were not his own. Edgar Allan Poe died of health issues. Another widespread theory is that Poe died of a brain lesion. Years prior, a doctor suggested this may be the case, given his unusually low tolerance for alcohol. 2 decades after his passing, his body was dug up for relocation, at which time an alleged calcified tumor was discovered inside his skull. Edgar Allan Poe died of rabies. Though less intriguing than others, this theory best explains his symptoms. In the final hours of his life, Poe was confused, tired, and suffered hallucinations, all unfortunate hallmarks of rabies. He died 4 days after being found in the street, which is consistent with the typical progression from rabies infection to death. Edgar Allan Poe died from poisoning. Another medical-related supposition is that Poe was poisoned by carbon monoxide or mercury. This theory is the most unlikely of the bunch because tests on his hair excluded coal gas as a cause, ruling out carbon monoxide. And while mercury was present in his blood, it did not reach fatal levels. The Spirit of Edgar Allan Poe. Portrait of Edgar Allan Poe, vertical bar, Bettman Getty Images. Sure, Edgar Allan Poe's spirit lives on within his many poems and short stories, but some believe his presence lingers in the real world. Rumored sightings of his ghost have been observed at the Poe Museum in Richmond, on Sullivan's Island in South Carolina, where he lived in 1827, and at the Horse You Came In On Saloon, his favorite bar in Baltimore. Poe's passing is encased in perplexity and darkness, much like his writings, much like his life. Doctors officially declared his demise the result of congestion of the brain, but his death certificate was never found.
Thank you for watching this AGNDD Intelli report, dear viewers. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell button to get notified during new uploads. And make sure to tune in next time. Stay safe and healthy. Cheers.